out the mess so we can hear clearly. And as our minds grow to be more like Jesus's, we will find it easier and easier to have joy and peace there. It's possible and totally worth it. Emily Ley, author of the best-selling Grace, Not Perfection. Prologue. Let's kick this off with an honest confession, shall we? It's easy for me to get stuck in my head. That whooshing and whirring, loud and purring brain of mine can feel like the entirety of who I am. Jesus was a whole human who had a head and a heart and a spirit. I forget that Jesus came to this earth not as a brain in a mason jar floating in formaldehyde, but as an embodied, incarnate, integral person. His head and his heart were in perfect alignment to obey his Father. His thoughts lined up with what he believed, knew even, to be true, and his actions followed suit. Our thoughts are both indicators of deeper issues and can be problems in themselves. It's wise that you're here listening to this book. We're going to venture into the middle of ourselves, to the core of who we are. We're going to look at our heads and our hearts. We're going to look at the gap that stands in the middle, and we're going to ask God to close it. We're going to learn to obey with our minds and our hands and our feet so that we're living integrated lives, every part of us lined up to the glory of God. Our loud minds can be quieted with God's loving kindness. Our wrong-headed thoughts can be put to death, and we really can live a life dwelling on, incarnating really, resurrection truth. In order to live in this wholehearted and clear-headed integrity, we need to submit our beliefs and our thoughts to a God who is able to make sense of it all. I have tried, and I am convinced that trying hard is not enough. This kind of life change will require that we partner with a supernatural God. I need to tell you that we have the opportunity to be living, breathing examples of Jesus walking around in the world. We do. But our flesh is not inclined to want to agree. And our brain, that beautifully complex organ that holds our thoughts, is quite literally flesh, unreformed by God, will go about our days frantic, worried, dour, or fussy. This is not the way of Jesus. This is not a Christ-like representation of him to a hurting world. Neither is this the way you would want to spend this one life you've got. I am guessing that if you're listening to this book, you know the dichotomy I feel sometimes. What I really believe, on a head level, is not what I actually dwell on in my heart. And because I dwell on other things, what I really believe doesn't make a home in me. It doesn't change me. I want the power of God. I want him to change me. But I'm walking around like I believe this fuss and frenzy here in front of me is all there is. Now this temporal world is not all there is. There is a perfect, renewed kingdom of God coming, and there is a foretaste of it here and now. We can almost hear it in the cry of a baby and the consoling words of its mother. We can catch a glimpse of it in the endless lapping of waves on the shore. We can sense it when we give a gift that costs us dearly. There is a deep satisfaction and peace that follow Jesus everywhere. And if you're a believer, his Spirit has come to dwell inside you. This is good news. I'm just reminding you of all these good things so that you can contrast it with the bad news you tell yourself. Do you spend your time telling yourself that nothing's ever going to change? That life is too hard? That it's all just hopeless? Why, when we know the good news of Jesus, do we repeat to ourselves the bad news of this world? Why, when Paul writes that we have the mind of Christ, 1 Corinthians 2:16, do we desperately hold on to our own bad news loops? Let's look deeper into the source of the problem, to where things have gone wrong, because then we'll be able to look to God for the answer. It's going to take some brave and steady work on your part, as it has on mine. I have gone before you in this challenge, and I'm still walking beside you. This isn't a one-shot sort of deal. You will learn to embody truth, and that will be a skill you take with you and practice every day until you meet the very one who is truth. Part 1. What is the problem? Chapter 1.